First of all, I would like to thank you for taking out your valuable time to discuss about a burning problem, that is infection, and specifically about the antibiotics. So a couple of years, by the time the presentation is all loaded, so presentation to definitely rahega, but we are here to more discuss about that what are the challenges that we are facing as far as the choice of antibiotics are concerned, what are the options and how to use it, and overall how to connect the dots when you don't have a choice. Because many a times the resistance is so high. Previously it was thought that community acquired resistance is not that much, but now the situation is changing. Specifically in case of recurrent infection, reinfection, the situations are becoming very bad. Even the normal bacteria are resistant to more than 50 antibiotics, and sometimes we are left with high end. So what I am going to talk in my session are three very important things. First, what is the diagnostic modality? How to find the things in a report, because if you are getting an automated report, what exactly are the things which you should look at, and what are the probable choice. So I am not capable to tell you or teach you about which antibiotic to choose and which antibiotic to not choose. But I will definitely discuss over here what are the things which needs to be seen in a culture or a sensitivity report. So by the time we are loading the presentation, so I'll just give a brief introduction of me. So I am Harshul. I am coming from a company called bioMérieux, and the name of the company bioMérieux comes from the founder Marcel Mérieux. Marcel Mérieux was the student of Louis Pasteur. So since 1895, we all know that Louis Pasteur is the father of microbiology, and so the history of the company goes back till that time. So microbiology runs in the DNA of the company, and starting from culture media plate to the most advanced technology which can identify bacteria in just 2 minutes. So those kind of things are also available with us. So quickly going to the presentation now. So this is the slide which I was talking about, the great history of my company. So in 2014, World Health Organization, they categorized the list of organisms as highly critical, high and medium. So there are organisms which rarely people used to consider 10 years back. So when we used to talk about blood culture about 10-15 years back, the most common organism which used to come in mind is Salmonella. So blood culture करेंगे किसके लिए करेंगे? Salmonella के लिए करेंगे. But now if you see that Salmonella is not even there in the top 10 list also. Only in some episodes of contaminated water, or you will find that very sporadic incidences of Salmonella, and that Salmonella will be very peculiar. For example, it will be resistant to certain line of like ceftriaxone resistant Salmonella, Salmonella showing high resistance towards azithromycin, which are the commonly, and it will be very typical, and it will be there for 2 or 3 months and then it will vanish. But now if you talk about the blood culture, one of the most critical organisms which are isolated are organisms like highly resistant Klebsiella pneumoniae, which is a nightmare for any kind of hospital setups. Then E. coli, which is not pan-resistant but multi-resistant. Then organisms which people never even encountered in past, like Acinetobacter baumannii, like Burkholderia, which in microbiological terms are called as non-fermentative bacteria. So we will not go into the too much of, and this will not be like a microbiology class, but more just to give the background. So the dynamics are changing, and why the dynamics are changing, we all of us know that, I'll mix Hindi and English both, considering the time and to make it more interesting. I always say that a person who has reached a clinician and a person who has reached the diagnostic part is the very, very lucky person. So even 1 in a million person in India, they reach to the diagnostic stage. So even जैसे पढ़े लिखे लोग जैसे हम लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तो the first thing is self-medication. Second thing is medication by the pharmacist or a pharmacy shop. When that also fails, then you go to a doctor. When doctor, the patient goes to the doctor will use the experience and try to treat the patient empirically, because again everybody wants to join the work as soon as possible. Even in a not so 100% state of affairs, we have to go to the job. Like tomorrow I am also working on Sunday, Saturday evening आप लोग भी सुन के काम ही कर रहे. So you know, we have to work, we have reasons, and only when the things don't improve, then the diagnostics are considered. So out of 100,000 patients or 1 lakh who should ideally, without taking an antibiotic, should go to the clinician and then only, you know, consider for an antibiotic. It's like they are taking self medication. Then pharmacist, कुछ हुआ नहीं, आप उसको अजिथ्रोमाइसिन का पत्ता दे देता और कितनी गोली देगा? 2 गोली, सिर्फ 2. अब 2 गोली में क्या चमत्कार होने वाला है, वी डोंट नो. ठीक है, बट 2 गोली से क्या होगा कि वो कल ऑफिस जाने के लायक बन जाएगा, एंड ही विल फील दैट यू नो ही हैज गॉट क्योर्ड, which is one of the big problems of antibiotic resistance, and which is leading to no choice which we are having. So moving forward, what exactly are the reasons of antibiotic resistance? Use of unnecessary broad spectrum antibiotics, using too less dose, for example just 1 or 2 tablet. As soon as the symptoms disappear, people think that their infection is gone, and that leads to recurrence of bacteria. And when the infection happens the second time, that is not the susceptible population which is infecting, now it is the resistant population. So which make the things very bad. And the unnecessary long duration of treatments, this does not happen in a you know, OPD setup that much, but in a hospital setup these kind of things are seen. So one very fancy term which is going on nowadays, if you see, that is called as antibiotic stewardship or antimicrobial stewardship. So antimicrobial stewardship now is a very important term. Why very important? Because stewardship, general term if you see, so we know flight stewards. So steward is a person who takes special care of anybody. So like a flight steward का काम रहेगा कि वो आपका खास ध्यान रखेगा. So we are the custodians of antibiotics, कि हम antibiotic का खास ध्यान रखेंगे. So we are called as antibiotic stewards. But one of the misconceptions of antibiotic stewardship is that people think that when we are talking about antibiotic stewardship, we are saying not to use antibiotic, which is completely wrong. So antibiotic stewardship means that you have to use antibiotic. It is not saying कि आपको antibiotic use नहीं करना है, आपको antibiotic use करना है, लेकिन कब करना है, कैसे करना है, that you have to use the right antibiotic with the right indication, in the right dose, for the right route, for the right patient at the right time. So when we use our weapons according to the situation and according to the proof and according to the diagnostic and the experience which we have, then those antibiotics will really work well. And also one of the biggest reason is that we have to avoid the suboptimal dosage, which is a burning problem. So this is about antibiotic stewardship. Since we are from the diagnostic fraternity, so it is our dharma to talk about one more angle, that is the diagnostic stewardship. So antibiotic stewardship का एक pillar है diagnostic stewardship. Now what do you mean by diagnostic stewardship? And it is very important. So diagnostic stewardship means right test for the right patient at right time. So one of my very close friends, Dr. Darshan, talked about blood culture. Now imagine a person who is already on antibiotics for 3 days, 4 days, and then we are recommending a blood culture. So what will happen in that case? कि अगर patient already 3 दिन 4 दिन से antibiotic पर है, तो chances of that blood culture coming positive will be very low, because we cannot say that there will be 100% clearance of antibiotic. So either the chances of positivity will be low or the time to positivity will be very high. And if you see the patient in the background, क्योंकि हम लोग अपने लिए तो नहीं कर रहे, patient के लिए कर रहे, so the valuable time which is required for the patient for us to treat according to the proof, that gets lost. So diagnostic stewardship is something which is very important. So that helps us in knowing that which is the test, and during the course of treatment, at what point of time that test will be useful and at what point of time it will not be useful. So for blood culture, I'll just give one example. So for blood culture, the simple rule is that as soon as you see signs and symptoms of sepsis, which are very generalized, like high blood pressure, very low blood pressure, like loss of sensorium. So there is SOFA score, Q SOFA score. So as soon as you see signs and symptoms of sepsis, you first write the blood culture, take the blood culture, and then you start aggressively antibiotics or hospitalize the patient, whichever is the thing. And then when your blood culture result will come within 48 to 72 hours. So microbiologist will tell you that whether the blood culture is positive or negative, and if it is positive, what is he suspecting? Is it a gram positive bacteria or a gram negative bacteria or a candida? Similarly, the role of the microbiologist is not to act like a postman, that कि चलो report दे दिया, बात खत्म हो गई. They have to interact with the clinician. They have to discuss with the clinician that the test which they have ordered, is that the best test for the patient, or there are some other tests also which are required. For example, if a patient is suffering from urinary tract infection, recurrent urinary tract infection, and the patient is having high grade fever also, so in that case only urine culture may not be sufficient. You need to club that urine culture with the blood culture as well, and it may be early signs of urosepsis. So these are the small hints which needs to be gathered both initially by the doctor, because microbiologist will not have an access to the patient, but these kind of things when discussed, that is interaction and interpretation of the reports, the right antimicrobial, sometime, and we will see in the presentation, sometimes you will see that the antibiotics which are prescribed, and even if they are sensitive, are not working, whereas some antibiotics are resistant, but even when you give it to the patient, they work very well. So what are the reasons for it? Is the report wrong? No, the report is not wrong, but there are some other reasons which we are going to see. So in a microbiology report, there are three pillars. One is the culture, identification, and susceptibility. For a treating clinician, out of the three pillars, the most important pillar is susceptibility. But the question is, your susceptibility report will not be accurate until and unless you identify the bug accurately. Because if the target is different, you cannot use the same weapon. And as I discussed in my initial slide, if the organism is Burkholderia, or if the organism is Stenotrophomonas, that can be cured by very basic antibiotic like cotrimoxazole. Even if you give high dose of meropenem or colistin, that bacteria is naturally resistant to meropenem and colistin, it will not work. And a very basic antibiotic like cotrimoxazole will treat the patient. Levoflox is the second choice, and minocycline is the third choice for that bacteria. Similarly, when we talk about Acinetobacter, the routine antibiotics, they don't work. There are very certain antibiotics which work. So the inner crux of the story is that you have to identify. But how will you identify? कोई हम घर से तो ऑर्गेनिज्म लाके डालेंगे नहीं, उसके लिए हमको कल्चर करना पड़ेगा. So sending the cultures at the right time and the right cultures depending upon the right set of symptoms is the must. So if the cultures are sent in a timely manner, the role of the microbiologist is to identify the organism and to tell the susceptibility testing. So culture से आपको दो information मिलेंगे कि बैक्टीरिया है कि नहीं है, is the source of infection or is the etiology infectious or non-infectious, if yes, broadly which kind. So for example, if a patient is on a very broad spectrum antibiotic therapy and if you know that it is probably a gram negative, तो हम क्या करेंगे, ग्राम नेगेटिव के कवर को और बढ़ाएंगे, ग्राम नेगेटिव को कम कर देंगे. अगर आपको पहले ही पता चल गया कि इट इज कैंडिडा, तो आप अगर पेशेंट को मीरोपेनम भी दे रहे हैं तो काम नहीं करेगा. यू नो दैट इट्स कैंडिडा, तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं कि आप यू कैन देन शिफ्ट टू द इजीली अवेलेबल और डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द पेशेंट यू कैन चूज टू एन एंटीफंगल. सो दैट इज वेरी वेरी हेल्पफुल. देन व्हेन यू accurately identify the organism, you will be able to know the exact inheritance or the natural resistance कि कौन से एंटीबायोटिक तो काम करेंगे ही नहीं. And the last thing is the susceptibility, that means the accurate MIC along with the resistant mechanisms. So what is the golden triangle of diagnostic stewardship or treatment modality. So the most important factor is the host. So host comes with some symptoms to the clinician. The clinician asks for some tests and the microbiologist will identify the bugs. So जो microbiology lab में the activities which are done are only the two which are there in the bottom. They work only with the bug and with the drug. They don't have any information about the patient. So many times it happens is that the drug is susceptible, but it cannot be given. Why? Because even in that susceptibility criteria, it is not possible for that antibiotic to reach the site of infection. The drug availability is not there. But on the other hand, there are antibiotics which may be resistant on the report, but the natural portal of exit is through that channel, for example, urinary tract. So if an antibiotic is excreted from urinary tract, more than 20 times concentration will be accumulated in the bladder, and even if the drug is resistant, you will find that the antibiotic is working. So we have to always correlate the antibiotic, and we are very fortunate that an expert microbiologist is there in the panel of Manipal, and sir has loads of experience to guide you through all these nitty-gritties. So quickly coming to that, what are the big challenges for susceptibility testing and why it is not actionable. The biggest problem is standardization, then time, because we cannot wait for 4 days, 5 days for the report to come. Ultimately, when the patient has come, we have to treat them. Then species level accurate identification, then susceptibility break, based on the latest guidelines, because the guidelines change every year. Some antibiotics are introduced, some antibiotics are blocked depending upon the resistance in the society. And finally, about the report consideration. So the system which is worldwide used and which is the most acceptable system in the world is the Vitek 2 Compact. So you would have heard about the Vitek report. So my company makes Vitek. Vitek क्या करता है sir detail में बताएंगे. But in short, it will do bacterial identification, it will do fungal identification, it will do antibiotic susceptibility, antifungal susceptibility, and more so, it can identify more than 100 types of resistant mechanisms also. Quickly we will go through the things, we will not make it a microbiology class. So again, the advantage is that if you send the culture today and if the bacteria is there, that means if the growth comes tomorrow in the plate, then in just 6 to 8 hours, it can complete the susceptibility. So if everything goes well, so if you send a sample, for example, before 11 o'clock in the morning, it will take 1 day to grow in the plate. And if you run it on the Vitek, so next day evening, you can get the result. Or if you send a sample in the evening, for example, it will take another 1 day to grow, and another next day morning, that is day after tomorrow, you can expect the report. So that is the advantage. But the criteria is that the bacteria should grow. If the bacteria is not there, then it will take a longer time, because microbiologists will wait for 2 days, 3 days to confirm that it is not a false alarm and it's not a false negative. So the time to results are very, very fast. Then another advantage, as I have already told about identification, is that you don't have to treat everything. Bacteria which is growing can be contaminant also, it can be commensal also, that means normal microbial flora of the patient, and it can be a true pathogen also. So again, here it is very important that we have an expert microbiologist in the panel, and if you give the right information while sending the sample, you can get great insights from him regarding that, is it really a pathogen, do you really have to consider, or you can have a second opinion as well. But as I said, that there are certain highly resistant organisms which nobody have heard 5 years or 10 years back, but now they are prevalent in the society, like Burkholderia, Stenotrophomonas, and even organisms like Salmonella at sites which were not expected, like Salmonella in joint fluid. Those kind of things are also coming. So it is important that the identification is there, and you as a treating clinician always look at the identification कि कौन सा organism identify हुआ है, और आपके routine में, like while you are practicing and when you are giving the report, so you can also see about the pattern कि क्या पैटर्न हमको यहाँ पर देखने के लिए मिल रहा है. एंड एज आई सेड दैट ईच एंड एवरी बैक्टीरिया has got a resistance pattern which is called as natural resistance or intrinsic resistance. So you will find that sometimes in a report there are only 6 antibiotics. Sometimes in a report there are 25 antibiotics. So why in some bacteria there are 6 antibiotics and some there are 25? तो ऐसा तो है नहीं कि माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट को किसी को छुपा के रखना है या नहीं है. Because it is not going to work because the bacteria is naturally resistant. So classical example if you see, and why it is so important to identify all these bacteria, they belong to the same family called Enterobacteriaceae. But even if the species level changes are there, like Citrobacter kozeri, Citrobacter fundi, their pattern completely changes. If you go down and if you see some organisms which are highly resistant, उनका तो completely अलग है. So now coming to the main topic of the discussion, that is antibiotic susceptibility testing. How to interpret the report and what is this new jargon called as MIC, minimum inhibitory concentration. So minimum inhibitory concentration, it's a fundamental concept for antibiotic susceptibility testing and everybody should know about कि ये होता क्या है, ये करता क्या है और ये कहाँ काम में आता है. So what is the guideline on the basis of which we are testing minimum inhibitory concentration is called as CLSI guideline. Then what is the use of minimum inhibitory concentration? So if you know the minimum inhibitory concentration, you can set the right dose, you can choose the right antibiotic, you can track the resistance over a period of time, and you can also know that what is the minimum concentration of antibiotic that you have to maintain at a site of infection. तो ये MIC होता कैसा है और दिखता कैसा है? So this is the conventional way of doing an MIC testing. So, and why I have chosen this chart, because it's self-explanatory. So what we do over here is that there are 8 tubes and in the first tube there is 0 antibiotic, there is no antibiotic. But starting from tube number 2 and so on, there is double concentration of antibiotic. So in this chart you can see that tube number 1 is 0, tube number 2 is 0.2, 0.4 and so on. So what is minimum inhibitory concentration? So minimum inhibitory concentration is the minimum amount or concentration of drug which stops the bacteria from multiplying. So in this chart you can see that 1.6 microgram per ml is the minimum concentration of antibiotic that we have to maintain in the patient site of infection to stop the bacteria from multiplying. But this technique was very cumbersome, क्योंकि अगर आपको 16-17 एंटीबायोटिक का रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो एक लैब को कम से कम 200 ट्यूब बनाने पड़ेंगे एक पेशेंट के लिए, तो which was not possible. So what they did was to have a miniaturized version of this which is called as broth micro dilution. तो उन्होंने क्या किया कि एलाइजा प्लेट में उसको मिनिएचराइज कर दिया 10 ml से 1 ml में, और इसी को हमारे सिस्टम वाइटेक में they have incorporated. There is one more thing which is called as e-test. Now e-test is a very important test जब कोई नया एंटीबायोटिक लॉन्च होता है मार्केट में, and if you want to test that what is the minimum inhibitory concentration of that, so उसके लिए ये टेस्ट होता है, because why, there will be some pharma guys who will be visiting you and saying कि ये नया एंटीबायोटिक है वगैरह, तो आप उनसे 2 सवाल जरूर पूछेगा कि इसका टेस्ट करने के लिए कोई गाइडलाइन है FDA का या CLSI का, या आपने कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन आपने मन से निकाल के आपने कॉम्बिनेशन बना लिया, इसका ब्रेक पॉइंट वगैरह भी है. So these are the fundamental questions. So these are the cards, and I will not read out the cards, but just I will tell the fundamental of these cards. So the cards are the set of antibiotics which are there in a particular report, and these are designed based on the type of organisms. So we in bioMérieux, what we do, every 3 to 4 years we redesign the cards based on the antibiotic susceptibility pattern in India. तो ये जो cards है, these are India specific cards, and the antibiotics which do not work in our scenario, we remove them, and the antibiotics which are active and which are really required, we add them. So this is what we do. So this is how the MICs are helpful. Now in very short I will try to explain that how the MICs can actually help you. So first is how to choose the most appropriate antibiotic, how to determine the dose, क्योंकि ये ड्रग रेजिस्टेंस ट्रैकिंग वगैरह ये इंस्टीट्यूट्स में, रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में होता है, ये प्रैक्टिसिंग हॉस्पिटल्स में कम देखने के लिए मिलता है. तो आई विल स्टिक ओनली टू how to choose the antibiotic and how to set the dose. So this is a very simple diagram and this is a typical diagram. This does not happen with each and every antibiotic, but this is just for the understanding purpose. So what happens is, as soon as an antibiotic is administered, suppose it's an injectable antibiotic, and as soon as the antibiotic is administered, it reaches the maximum concentration which is called as Cmax, and over a period of time that antibiotic is excreted out of the body. So minimum antibiotic concentration means that what is the minimum volume or concentration of antibiotic that you have to maintain at the site of infection to either stop the bacteria from multiplying or kill the bacteria. So if it's a bactericidal antibiotic, it will be to stop, and if it's a bactericidal, to kill. But minimum inhibitory concentration is so important because if you know कि मेरे को इतना concentration maintain करना है, then you can choose the right and appropriate antibiotic. Then how to choose the appropriate antibiotic? So again, if it's a concentration dependent antibiotic, so on an average the concentration has to be about 8 times the minimum inhibitory concentration. ये general rule है, it is not the fundamental thing for all, but and if it's a time dependent antibiotic, so we have to ensure that the continuous infusion should be maintained in such a way that at least 4 times the minimum inhibitory concentration value should be maintained, ताकि उसका जो exposure है antibiotic का वो MIC से हमेशा 4 गुना ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, because when you will administer the antibiotic, it will be distributed all throughout the body, and at the site of infection what will be the concentration which will be available will be a matter. Now this is slightly technical, but I will not again make it complicated. I will just talk about the fundamental point. There are different types of antibiotic. Some are called as concentration dependent antibiotic, some are time dependent antibiotic, and some are both. But the common feature is, in all the 3 types of antibiotics, MIC is there in the denominator. मतलब आपको क्या करना है कि टाइम ऑफ एक्सपोजर इतना ज़्यादा रखना है कि MIC के ऊपर ही हो. Cmax में क्या करना है, कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इतना ज़्यादा रखना है कि MIC से ज़्यादा ही हो. एंड इफ इट्स अ time and concentration dependent, then both should be so much that the exposure time and the concentration are more than the minimum amount which is required to kill. Then it is very complicated, क्योंकि ये theoretically बहुत easy है, लेकिन patient में आप कैसे calculate करेंगे और microbiology report को देख के आप कैसे समझेंगे. So we have made a very simple tool which is called as therapeutic index tool. Now how this therapeutic index tool works is by a simple formula which is called as TI, therapeutic index. So we simply divide the breakpoint क्या होता है, susceptible breakpoint, divided by the observed MIC. That's it. So I will just give a simple example over here. Suppose the organism which is identified is E. coli, जो कि common organism है, and there are 2 antibiotics, imipenem and meropenem. Both of them are from the same family, carbapenem. दोनों का ब्रेक पॉइंट भी सेम है. ब्रेक पॉइंट मतलब ससेप्टेबल, इंटरमीडिएट, रेजिस्टेंट, दैट इज ऑल्सो सेम. बट MIC ऑफ वन ड्रग इज 0.25 and the MIC of other drug is 1. So when you apply the same formula over here which was there, which is called as breakpoint divided by observed MIC, तो breakpoint is 1 in both the cases. एक का observed MIC है 0.25 और एक का MIC है 1. तो 1 divided by 1 is 1 and 1 divided by 0.45 is 4. तो in a nutshell, ब्रेक पॉइंट से एंटीबायोटिक का MIC जितना कम रहेगा उतना उसका थेरेपी का चांस हमारा ज़्यादा रहेगा. सो देर इज़ अ वेरी बिग मिसकंसेप्शन अबाउट MIC. पीपल यूज द टर्म कॉल्ड एज लोएस्ट MIC इज द बेस्ट MIC, which is completely wrong, because the right definition is that lowest MIC compared to the therapeutic breakpoint is the best MIC. Now simple example is cotrimoxazole. अभी कोट्राइमोक्सोजोल का ब्रेक पॉइंट ही है 20, 40 एंड 80 और मीरोपेनम का ब्रेक पॉइंट है 1, 2 एंड 4. तो एक का MIC 4 है जो कि रेजिस्टेंट है और एक का सेंसिटिव का MIC है 20, तो 4 तो 20 से कम ही रहेगा. तो वी डोंट हैव टू कंपेयर द MICs बिटवीन द एंटीबायोटिक्स, वी हैव टू कंपेयर द MIC फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर ड्रग with the breakpoints of that particular antibiotic. And this is a very simple chart which bioMérieux has prepared to make the life of the microbiologist and make the life of the clinician easy to choose that where your MICs are lying and which antibiotic is more sensitive and which is less sensitive. So if you see over here, there are three columns, S, I and R. S means susceptible, I means intermediate, and R is resistant. So if your antibiotic and MIC is just on the sensitive, that means it will work. And the more it is there on the left hand side, that means it is more susceptible. But this is a fairy tale situation, and a clinician will never bother if you have more than 3 or 4 choices which are all susceptible. You will give the antibiotic accordingly. But the problem comes when there is nothing sensitive. कि जो आपको पेशेंट को देना है वो कुछ सेंसिटिव है ही नहीं, तब आप क्या करेंगे? So again we will try and use the same formula and we will see that how far is the antibiotic from the resistant cutoff. कि क्या वो just resistant cutoff के ऊपर है या resistant cutoff से already 3 या 4 MIC ऊपर जा चुका है. So if it is just on the resistant cutoff, that means over here if you see in this example, so the organism is Klebsiella pneumoniae, one of the biggest dangerous organism in the ICU. The antibiotic is meropenem, one of the main antibiotics. Breakpoint is same 1, 2 and 4 and the observed MIC is 4. तो यहाँ पे क्या ये drug resistant है, but it is just at the resistant cutoff. So in this case it is resistant, so theoretically you can't use, but there is no choice. So what you will do over here is you will still try by increasing the dosage or by using in a combination therapy with colistin and ensure कि combination therapy के बाद में भी can it work or can it not work. But on the other hand, if the MIC has already crossed more than 4 dilutions and if the MIC is for example 8 or MIC is 16 or MIC is 32, that means it is already 3 or 4 dilutions higher than the resistance cutoff, then in that case the chances of therapy are very, very difficult, and these are given in several research publications that if the antibiotic MICs are more than 32, as you can see in the over there, then the chances are that the combination therapy will also not work effectively. So this is in short about the presentation. Last 2-3 slides I will talk about antimicrobial resistance. तो आप सब लोगों ने antimicrobial resistance के बारे में सुना होगा, that antimicrobial resistance is not a threat of future, that is the problem which all of us are encountering now, right now, today. So if you see a microbiology report, so previously you hardly were seeing 4 or 5 antibiotics which were resistant. अब उसका उल्टा हो गया है, 4 या 5 सेंसिटिव भी अगर मिल जाते हैं तो we see that the patient ने कोई बहुत पुण्य के काम किए कि उसका इतना susceptible profile आया है, and you have as a clinician lot of choice to treat the patient based on the susceptible. But the issue is that there is lot of antibiotic resistance. As a treating clinicians, which are the most common antibiotic resistance which you should track? So there are more than 108 different types of resistant mechanisms, but अगर आप सिर्फ 3 या 4 antibiotic resistance को भी अगर आप track कर लेंगे तो आपको choice करने में बहुत आसानी हो जाएगा. तो ये antibiotic resistance होता क्या है और पता करने से हमको फायदा क्या है? Antibiotic resistance का फायदा सबसे बड़ा ये है कि if you know the antibiotic resistance, you can predict the behavior of entire class and family of antibiotic. You can know कि antibiotic susceptibility report में तो 3 या 4 ही antibiotic की आपको आंसर मिलेगी, लेकिन अगर आपको रेजिस्टेंस मैकेनिज्म पता है तो आप पूरी की पूरी एंटीबायोटिक फैमिली की सिफेलोस्पोरिन्स कैसा बिहेव करेंगे, कार्बापेनम कैसे बिहेव करेंगे, या अगर ग्राम पॉजिटिव है तो पेनिसिलिन्स कैसे बिहेव करेंगे, हम पूरा का पूरा प्रेडिक्ट कर सकते हैं. सो देर आर ओनली 5 रेजिस्टेंस मैकेनिज्म्स which I would request that you should start tracking. In gram positive, the most common is MRSA. So MRSA is very, very notorious. Why? Because if the organism is MRSA, first, second, third generation cephalosporins are gone, fluoroquinolones are gone, and even the chances of vancomycin treatment is also difficult. If it's induced clindamycin resistance, वी हैव टू यूज इरिथ्रोमाइसिन वेरी वेरी केयरफुली कि ये इरिथ्रोमाइसिन के रेजिस्टेंस तो नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे इसमें. देन ग्लाइकोपेप्टाइड रेजिस्टेंस, लकीली वी डोंट हैव इन इंडिया, सो वी डोंट हैव टू बॉदर. देन इन ग्राम नेगेटिव वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंसर्न्स आर ESBL. तो ये ESBL जो होता है, ESBL का मतलब है एक्सटेंडेड स्पेक्ट्रम बीटा लैक्टोमेसिस. दे बेसिकली एक्ट ऑन फर्स्ट, सेकेंड एंड थर्ड जनरेशन cephalosporins. But the new guideline is that don't go by only ESBL positive or negative. See the individual cephalosporins reported and choose cephalosporins based on individual susceptibility. One of the big causes of carbapenem resistance is ESBL test. तो पहले क्या होता था कि अगर जैसे ESBL पॉजिटिव अगर आता है तो स्ट्रेट अवे डॉक्टर्स यूज टू प्रेफर कार्बापेनम्स, क्योंकि ESBL पॉजिटिव है इसका मतलब फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड जनरेशन cephalosporins आउट है, तो हम क्या करेंगे, सीधा कार्बापेनम पे शिफ्ट करेंगे. सो द न्यू गाइडलाइन, ट्रीटमेंट गाइडलाइन हैज क्लियरली said that even if it is ESBL positive, check the entire report and go by the individual cephalosporins, and if you can administer that cephalosporin to the patient based on the pharmacokinetic pharmacodynamic principles, you use that. Then the last and the most notorious is the carbapenemesis. Now carbapenemesis means that first, second, third, fourth generation cephalosporins are gone and even the carbapenemesis are also gone. So the choices, ये जो प्रॉब्लम आएगा ये हॉस्पिटल्स में तो आता ही आता है, लेकिन ये अभी धीरे धीरे करके हमको जो OPD सेटअप्स में भी कार्बा रेजिस्टेंस का देखने के लिए मिल रहा है. हॉस्पिटल में कार्बा रेजिस्टेंस का जो रेट है दैट इज ऑलमोस्ट एज हाई एज 60 to 65%, एंड इन केस ऑफ द OPD सेटअप्स इट इज ऑलमोस्ट इन द रेंज ऑफ 20 to 40% हम लोगों को अभी देखने के लिए मिल रहा है इवन इन द रिपोर्ट्स. सो वी हैव टू बी रियली केयरफुल, एंड इफ दैट इज द सिनेरियो देन द चॉइस ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट डायरेक्टली बिकम्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन थेरेपी और TG साइक्लिन or colistin. In that angle we have to go. To make the life easy for the doctors, it is not possible for doctors to remember all the resistant mechanisms, but this is a simple chart which shows that if this is a resistant mechanism, then what are the classes of antibiotics which are affected. So just by seeing this chart, and we will provide all the charts to the laboratory, and the laboratory can provide these charts along with the reports, which will help you to know the entire family of antibiotic, and you will get to know that how exactly the situation is going to work. Last thing of my presentation, how to see the report, how to read the report. So if you are getting a Vitec report, there are three things which you have to see. First, ये मेरा repeat slide है. First is the identification. कि identification क्या हुआ है, तो यहाँ पे you can see that the identification is Staph aureus. Organism में आप देख सकते हैं, selected organism में it is Staph aureus. And in Vitec now the resistant mechanism is written on the name only. ये Staph aureus MRSA. That means first, second, third generation cephalosporins are out, fluoroquinolones are out. तो आपको resistant mechanism उसके बाजू में लिख के मिल जाता है कि क्या क्या काम नहीं करने वाला, पूरी फैमिली का क्या बिहेवियर होने वाला है एंटीबायोटिक का, वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. Then you see the antibiotics, then you see the MIC values. तो MIC values से आपको ये पता चलेगा अभी कि कितना concentration आपको maintain करना है. Don't get confused by the greater than and less than, that is irrelevant. Just see the value कि कौन सा value है. And we will be providing you with this chart, and with the help of the chart, this chart, you will be able to see in case of a query. कि अगर आपके पास में कंफ्यूजन है कि कौन सा एंटीबायोटिक काम करेगा नहीं करेगा, तब आप ये रेफर कर सकते हैं, आपको हर एक में करने का जरूरत नहीं है. सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट यू विल बी एबल टू चूज द रिपोर्ट, एंड दिस इज द फाइनल, एंड दिस इज हाउ, एंड द SINR. सो ससेप्टिबल का डेफिनेशन ये है दैट इफ द स्टैंडर्ड कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ एंटीबायोटिक इज रीच्ड एट द साइट ऑफ इन्फेक्शन, विल इट वर्क और नॉट वर्क. Intermediate means that in a normal dose it will not work, but increasing the dose will it work or not. And resistant means कि अगर concentration उतना अचीव हो भी जाए तो भी वो पेशेंट में काम नहीं करेगा, तो वहाँ पे फिर आपको बाकी चीज़ें देखनी पड़ेंगी, and you have to see whether it will work or not work. So Before my thank you slides, again, I will request everybody to, if you want to make the full use of the susceptibility report, again, ask for the identification, and for the identification, aggressively use the cultures, and you will be getting the full benefit with the help of automation. So one more thing is that in bioMerieux, we have some excellent tools which are available, which are just 10 to 15 pages tools, which talks about blood culture, which talks about the basics of susceptibility testing, which talks about the use of MIC, and these are the charts which are updated every year, and based on that you can make the full use of the antibiotic susceptibility testing report. So thank you very much for patient listening, and I hope that with my attempt there would be few new things which you would have got to know.